Only the core hockey content is here. No filler, no off-topic noise. Let's talk about what actually matters for the Montreal Canadiens. The year is 2022, and the Habs are at a crossroads. Fresh off a stunning run to the Stanley Cup Final just one season prior, the organization is now staring at a roster that needs significant retooling. Martin St. Louis has just taken over behind the bench, injecting energy and belief into a group that had lost its identity. Cole Caulfield is rediscovering his game under the new coach's guidance. Nick Suzuki is stepping into his leadership role, and swirling around all of it are the names that define this moment in Canadiens history. PK Subban and Shea Weber, two defensemen whose Montreal chapters carry enormous emotional weight for an entire fan base. Let's start with PK Subban, because his name refuses to leave the conversation no matter how much time passes. Subban's trade to Nashville in 2016 remains one of the most controversial decisions in recent Canadiens history. He was electric in Montreal, a Norris Trophy winner, a showman, a player who made the Bell Center feel like the most electric building in hockey every single night he played. The trade for Shea Weber made sense on paper at the time, a defensive stalwart for a high-flying offensive blue liner, and Weber delivered in his own right with years of physical, reliable play before injuries ultimately ended his career prematurely. But watching Subban thrive elsewhere, watching him reach a Stanley Cup Final with Nashville in 2017, always stung. And now, with Subban's career winding down and Canadiens in full rebuild mode, the question being asked is whether any reunion scenario makes sense. The honest answer is no, not for hockey reasons. Subban at this stage of his career is not the solution to what the Canadiens need on their blue line. The rebuild requires young, mobile, puck-moving defensemen who can grow at the core for the next decade. Subban's value was always tied to his offensive explosion from the blue line, and that window has closed. What the Canadiens need is not nostalgia. What they need is exactly what St. Louis is building: a culture, development, accountability, and long-term vision. But Subban's legacy in Montreal deserves to be honored properly. He gave the city everything when he was here. His personality, his charity work, his pure joy for the game made him one of the most beloved Canadiens of his generation, regardless of how the trade ultimately played out. If there's a conversation to be had about bringing him back in any capacity, it belongs in the front office or the broadcast booth, not on the ice. Now, let's talk about what actually matters for the Canadiens in 2022 and beyond. Martin St. Louis taking over this team is the most significant hockey decision Montreal made all season, and it's already paying dividends. What he's done with Cole Caulfield alone justifies everything. Before St. Louis arrived, there were genuine questions about whether Caulfield could survive at the NHL level. His shot was never in doubt, but his overall game looked lost under the previous system. St. Louis unlocked him immediately, giving him confidence, giving him freedom, and reminding a young sniper that his instincts are correct. The results have been stunning. Caulfield has rediscovered his scoring touch and looks like the 40 to 50 goal scorer this organization drafted him to be. Nick Suzuki is the other pillar of this new era. Quiet and composed, he leads by example rather than by volume, and that suits this young group perfectly. His defensive awareness, his playmaking, and his consistency night after night make him the ideal captain for a team learning how to compete at the highest level. Suzuki doesn't need the spotlight. He just needs a puck, and good things happen. The 2022 NHL Draft Lottery is circling on the calendar, and for a Canadiens team that has endured a painful season, the potential of a top pick carries enormous significance. This draft class has generational talent at the top, and landing a franchise-altering pick will accelerate the rebuild in ways that even the most optimistic fan might not dare to imagine. The prospect pool is already deep. Adding elite talent from the top of the draft would push Montreal's future from promising to genuinely exciting. Free agency is the other conversation dominating the offseason. St. Louis needs complementary pieces, veterans who buy into the culture he's building and can provide mentorship without clogging the lineup with expensive, aging contracts. Hughes has shown he understands his balance. He's not chasing big names for the sake of headlines. He's building something sustainable, and that patience is exactly what this franchise needs after years of short-term thinking. The broader picture for the Canadiens in 2022 is actually more encouraging than the standings suggest. The system is being installed. The young talent is developing on pace. The coaching structure is finally aligned with the long-term vision. And a fan base that has been through heartbreak and confusion is beginning to see the outline of something real taking shape. So here's the question that should be driving the debate right now. Is Martin St. Louis the long-term answer behind the bench for the Montreal Canadiens? Or is his current role simply a bridge to stabilize a difficult season before a more experienced coach takes over? Does this team's future belong entirely to him? Or is this just the beginning of a longer search? Drop your answer in the comments below. If this breakdown fires up your passion for the Bleu, Blanc, et Rouge, smash that like button and subscribe. We are covering every move, every rumor, and every step of this rebuild together. Habs Nation. The future is coming faster than you think.